Founders Only is brought to you by PayMongo, the payment gateway for business growth. PayMongo allows your business to accept online payments from customers through Visa, MasterCard, GCash, GrabPay, Maya, online banking, buy now, pay later, and many more, all with just one online platform. Sign up for free at paymongo.com. Also brought to you by Capita. Capita's software solution seeks to automate the equity management process for startups, including workflows around cap tables, ESOPs, due diligence, and transactions. Sign up at capita.com to get started with your digital cap table, ESOP, award granting, and all things equity. Free for companies with under 25 stakeholders. And brought to you by GoTime Bank. GoTime Bank is owned by the Gokongwei Group, the same companies that brought you brands you love, like Cebu Pacific, Robinsons, True Value, Toys R Us, South Star Drug, and many more. GoTime Bank makes next-level banking a breeze with its convenient account opening process. It takes less than 5 minutes to get started via the app. Plus, get your GoTime Bank Visa card at one of their kiosks for free. Download the GoTime Bank app today and experience the next level of banking. You may visit www.gotimebank.com.ph for more details. And CCAP. CCAP is a lending platform powered by UBX Philippines. With CCAP, you can easily apply for a loan from 5,000 pesos up to 1 million pesos from the comfort of your home nationwide. Visit www.ccap.ph, sign up, and apply for a loan now. That's www.seekcap.ph. Take your business to new heights by seeking capital with CCAP. Welcome to the latest episode of Founders Only. All right, so if you've been living under a rock, I've had this amazing founder before. So again, apologies I haven't been able to do Founders Only for the longest time. So if you're not familiar with this format, Founders Only is the sequel of Hustleshare. So obviously, if you've been listening to the show, I can only do Hustleshare once with a founder because I cannot go retrospective on retrospective and retrospective over that. We need continuation of somebody's story. Now, we can't use the same format because it's going to be weird. So this time we go into the deep dive now. And obviously the format is going to be like that. And this sequel show is called Founders Only. But we now need to go and do a deep dive because it's been 3.5 years since I talked to this person. And the last time I talked to her, axes were roaming the universe. And I want to understand now what happened since August 23, 2021 to what they do now in YGG, also known as Yield Guild Game. So let's welcome back to the show, Miss Beryl Li of YGG. Whoop, whoop. Beryl, welcome back to the show.
Thanks for having me. Hi, Ron.
Right. Okay, again, amazing stuff. I remember when I last thought of, I think, you weren't in Goab, no? I bumped into Bowe in Goab.
Oh.
And they did it in Cebu. I was like, wow, 10 years ago, we were talking about the World Startup Report.
Really long time ago.
So we're aging. Okay, my God. And the Beryl, again, is a OG as well. Been here for a long time, seen the amazing stuff. But Beryl, I'm very, very curious. So the last time I've had you on the show, and again, if you're curious about the origin story of Beryl and her co-founder Gabby Dizon, it's going to be in the description box. It's linked down. So the hustle behind YGG, that's the name. So obviously, if you want to track back, stop here muna, listen to that show. So that this is the continuation. But 2021 was a hell of a year for a lot of startups. So walk me through, since the last time we talked, how's it been like with the journey of YGG?
Oh, like any other startup, right? It's definitely a roller coaster ride. There's so much that has happened. I think the last, 4 years feels like 10 years.
Yes.
Yeah. So,
it's like dog years,
that
no?
has happened since.
1 year is 3 years, or 2 years in human years, or normal human years.
In a startup, and especially in the cryptocurrency industry.
Oof.
And blockchain. Yeah.
All right. So walk me through the little milestone. So 2021, let's just go through year by year, I guess. How did 2021, because I got you guys mid 2021, how did or end of 2021 to early 2022 start like or end like?
Yeah, so we actually started during the pandemic, right?
Yeah.
Like when during the lockdown period,
Mm.
I actually had more time to kind of like look into all these like DeFi applications.
Yep.
There has been a lot of like innovation in the space, and I felt like, wow, I almost missed a lot of this innovation. So
Yeah.
I delved into these applications, and then Gabby was also one of the OGs in the space, and
Yep.
we both kind of looked into all these applications. And I knew Gabby as like a gamer. Like
Yep.
he's really like an OG gamer with more than 10 years of like game development experience.
Correct.
And he's one of the first person that you would actually think of in the Philippines in the game
Always
scene
first
would be
to,
Gabby or
yeah,
Nix, right?
first to
And
mind. There you go.
first in mind,
Mm.
first in mind. And he it was then when we kind of like combined how does finance, gaming, and
Yeah.
the blockchain technology kind of look like together. This is when we started like founding YGG. We started like acquiring a lot of these like non-fungible tokens. These are like
NFTs.
your typical gaming assets, and then
Yeah.
there was a massive community that wanted to borrow these assets, and when they actually play it in game, they actually earn in-game rewards. And this was Axie Infinity.
Yep.
So Axie Infinity was the first game uh, that we kind of like invested in terms of their governance tokens as well as their gaming assets. So we acquired a lot of that. We breeded them. We were looking at scaling that kind of like lending
Yep.
business, right? Of gaming
The
assets.
scholars. Yeah.
Really fast. Yes. And then we call them scholarships. And then that kind of grew to investing into like acquiring assets of different games. So not only Axie. So we expanded in 2021, 2022, super fast. We grew to 50 game titles, 80 game titles by the end of 2022. But unfortunately, towards the end of the pandemic, when everyone started going back to work, the appetite for these what we call play to earn games, where you acquire assets and use it for in-game to earn in-game rewards.
Yep.
The model was getting a lot weaker because there's not a lot of people playing the games anymore, right? And that's true for a lot of games where a lot of players are fickle-minded as well. They always jump from one game to another game, and then on top of that, the rewards were not the value of the rewards was actually going down, and so the appetite for people wanting to play the game for the purpose of earning rewards was also going down, right? So the people that really stayed in these games were people who were really dedicated, like dedicated players, right? Like real players or people who really want to be part of the community, right? And I'd say only a few of those actually stayed.
Yeah.
And so we were thinking about what should we do, right? Like, what is next for us apart from this lending program? So we started acquiring a number of like game titles, and then looked into other forms of, we called it X to earn, where we actually invested in kind of like work to earn or move to earn, or so play to earn was for games.
Yeah.
And then you had learn to earn, right? Like when you actually complete certain modules, you learn something, you get rewarded for it, right? So we invested in that segment. And then later on, we saw the opportunity of building quests like leaderboards, and
yeah, I mean, gamification
still in gamifications. We actually gamified the certain tasks, and then every time that people completed certain tasks, we give them a soulbound token, kind of like a certificate. Like when you complete, like for example, your studies, you actually get like a certificate of completion. So that was similar to that, but in the form of an NFT, right? And so we started working on that in late 2022, 23. We launched Super Quest, and then we had the guild. Super Quest. And then we had our guild advancement program, which is, like quests for not only for gamers, but for, let's just say, influencers, for moderators. So for participants in the ecosystem. So not gamers per se, but then we offer that product to people in the ecosystem, like for other participants. That took off, but everything was highly, highly manual, right? And so we were looking into automating a lot of that through product, right? So we doubled down on the product team, building it. And we did one for Axie, we did one for Pixels. And then now, I think quite recently, we wanted to expand that product that we've built for what we call the future of work.
Oh, so that's where the future of work angle comes in.
And how we see the future of work would be, we wanted to provide income generating opportunities for a lot of our community members.
Yeah.
So in the beginning, we had community members who stayed because they really wanted to earn they wanted to play a game because they earn rewards, right? And we just thought maybe we should just embrace that a lot of our community members really want to earn a living. They want to make money. They want alternative income. And so when we really tried understanding our users and what they really wanted, let's just give it to them.
Yeah.
And so we're looking for other opportunities and applications in Web3, and we partner with them, and then we provide those opportunities to our community members.
Okay, I love that story, but I want to get into the weeds a little bit because again, you mentioned it. It's a roller coaster ride, right? And
Super.
2021, again, probably the end of 2021, 2022, play to earn was a thing. It fed families, literally. Not, it wasn't just a thing. I mean, this was really the thing. But of course, again, like any games, probably the closest that comes to mind is Pokemon Go. Pokemon Go, dude, I would go to Luneta during its peak for a good 1 month stretch to catch Gyarados and whatnot. But all of a sudden, again, the peak weighed in, and whoever ended up continuing are technically the super fans. So the fair weather fans like me who just wanted the kick and the nostalgia of it eventually got busy again. I want to understand because obviously, if there's one thing that I really love about what happened in 2021, 2022, that's peak product market fit. Every startup wants to have that peak product market fit. And as Justin Khan of Twitch would always describe it, he says that product market fit feels like you're drinking off of a fire hose. There's just so much demand and you cannot keep up and you can't gobble up enough water anymore. But when that product market fit wanes off, because there's a similar path that a lot of my good friends went through, Kumu. So during the pandemic, they were killing it because people had time. But once the world started opening up again, the one thing that people had a lot of during the pandemic did not exist. So they didn't have to stream. So same thing, it started dwindling down and whatnot. And that's something that they can't control. At the back end, how did you adjust? Because there's going to be adjustments that you're going to have to do, especially you said it's volatile, right? In any type of startup. I had to let people go too during that time. And then holy shit, it still hurts till now. What were the adjustments you guys did when all of a sudden it's not PMF or didn't feel like you're drinking out of a fire hose anymore?
So there was a time that, Play to Earn was really hot. Axie was really hot. And, economics change, right? Markets change. And so your business model also needs to change just because your users, their preferences change as well, right? Just because of the economics and the markets, right? And so I think, and I believe, and this is true until now, whenever you're actually in the business and you find a really great product, I don't think you should stop. Right. Yeah. It's so easy to be so complacent and feel comfortable with that particular product, but it's so important to keep innovating, right? To keep engaging with your users, always testing your business models. So yes, despite the going up and down, we also need to try out different products that work.
Sounds good. So
or don't
I
work.
love it, and you guys are iterating and whatnot, and getting that done. So last question before we take our first break. So when when you guys were doing this, um, were there things that used to work that didn't work anymore, or were there technically again these are a product of the market shifting and we can't control. We just need to find weather the storm and be ready for the next thing again. Was there instances there during that up and down, or at least ebb and flow, that stayed constant? And what are the things that changed that you had to like iterate on amongst yourselves, even the process that you guys did?
Oh, there's actually many factors that changed over time, right? Politics, right?
Yep.
Interest in what sort of crypto you hold, right? There's meme coins, there's gaming tokens, there's big cap tokens like Bitcoin, Ethereum. And there's a lot of these like shit coins too, right?
Yeah.
And then markets always choose sometimes big cap, and then they move to memes, and then they move to gaming, and then they move, it's highly fickle. It's a highly fickle market.
Yeah.
But one thing that we knew is we wanted to stay in the space, but be able to really capture the value out in this space, right? And it also depends on so many factors, like where your skills are, right? So, for example, Gabby is really, really into gaming, right? Yeah. And he really wants to focus on gaming alone,
right?
And whether the boat has left the dock or what, right? Like he's really keen to look for that perfect business model that is still relevant within gaming, and that's fine. And if that's what my co-founder likes, I would actually look for let's just say a complementary. So if we've built product, let's repurpose it, or let's expand let's expand the offering, right? And so this is where we actually found the opportunity to tackle the future of work. We try to understand. So we've lost a lot of users because they just wanted rewards and the rewards weren't good enough. So are we going to look for other users? But the users are there and they're still looking for opportunities. Right. So we really had to understand that, right? Like these are who are our users, right? Who are our community members, right? They're people who really want to seek for economic opportunities. Right?
Yeah.
So we cannot change that because that's who they are. And so if we embrace it, what's next, right? Like, I think it's more of what are the moving parts and what are parts that are kind of like stable, right? And maybe work around those.
And I love the term. I saw this recently. You guys posted it, and we can talk about it after the break. You even call it Filipino worker. Tama ba? Is it correct?
Oh, yes.
Metaverse Filipino
worker.
I love it. Now let's take our first break, and when we come back, obviously we're going to be talking about how you guys adjusted, how you guys even rejigged your team, and also how you were able to weather the financial obstacles like every single startup did during that time. Well, let's talk about that more after the break.
Hey hustlers, are you tired of bank transfer fees and low interest rates on your savings? Say hello to GoTime Bank. GoTime Bank offers interest rates 50x higher than traditional banks. Enjoy this rate on your savings. No minimum amount, no deposit caps, and no tasks or missions to complete. With GoTime Bank, you can make quick and secure transfers to other banks with 3 bank transfers per week. Plus, earn Go Rewards points and redeem them as cash with a simple tap in the GoTime Bank app. Experience the next level of banking with GoTime Bank. Download the app now or visit www.gotime.com.ph to experience next level banking. It's GoTime! Hey hustlers, it's a brand new season and I have a brand new tool that will help you scale your startup properly as you grow your team and give them equity eventually. And if you want to have a record of ownership management, efficient equity workflow, and award grants digitally, Capita has you covered with CapMap. CapMap is designed to enable cap table and ESOP management, as well as digital share insurance for companies across South and Southeast Asia. Also, Capita provides ESOP advisory services for you to set up your plan and engage your employees through equity awards. And trust me, this is a boon because as you grow your team, you want to give their best people a piece of the company that they're hustling for. Investing shares and giving ESOP is not easy if you don't have a product like this. So please do check it out and sign up now at capita.com with a Q. Again, that's capita.com with a Q. And it's free for companies that have under 25 stakeholders. Get ready to experience the power of seamless equity workflow management today.
And we're back from the break. We are still with Beryl Li of YGG, who then told us the crazy shifts. And again, one thing about crypto, again, I always say it. I just did it. I talked about it a couple episodes ago. Man, I did not ride the crypto boat early. I remember the Jason Torreses of the world. They're in Proud Cloud. They were talking about Bitcoin at $100 a pop. I'm like, shit, what is that?
Wow, those were good times.
I'm like, what the fuck? What? One of my biggest regrets in life. I didn't. I remember I think Ron Hose even gave me a fucking Bitcoin and I just lost it. Like, what that stupid mistakes. But
No.
again, I will have to live with that stupidity from back then. But now it's 100K plus. Hi. Okay, so I want to understand now. Again, let's just call it what it is. Crypto is volatile by default, right? It's not easy. It's not for the faint of heart. Startups is already hard. I think metaverse or crypto startups is 100x harder because you can't predict what you can't have. But I want to know several things. So you discussed prior to the break how difficult it was not knowing what you can predict. It can be super fickle, right? It can be shit coins, meme coins, or safe coins in span of one 24-hour stretch. But as a startup, there are things that you still have to do. And at the end of the day, one thing I super admire about this team is the composition of it. At one point, you had a Luis Benaventura, right? And now you brought in Gabby's wife, Mensch, and also you brought in the Azurins. Walk me through how that is. Because at the end of the day, knowing what I know now, your startup is only as good as the type of people that you bring in for the journey. So walk me through the evolution of the team during those tumultuous times and as things shifted as well.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So times change, and we always look at people whom we trust and people who are good at at an area that we really need help in. And Luis, he's been fantastic in marketing. He's been in the crypto space for a really long time, since 2013. Am I right? 2012, 2013.
I don't know. Though when I met Luis, he still had his startup. Back then he wasn't the crypto guy yet, so I know of him as Luis, the founder.
It's been a long time.
Mm-hmm.
So he would have known what NFTs were at that time. So he was more comfortable with a lot of the new innovation in 2021, 2022. When the rest of the market was still like catching up, what are NFTs? What are these assets, right? But Luis already knew about it. And then I guess we had to hire more people, right? We wanted to operationalize the Philippine team, right? And
YGG Pilipinas, technically.
YGG Pilipinas. And we were looking for someone to really, really lead that and grow that.
Was that a DAO still? Or was that locally incorporated na?
So YGG Pilipinas is locally incorporated in the Philippines, right?
Okay.
And Mensch was, she's been with startups in the past.
Did
She's
917 Ventures.
917, yes, exactly. She's familiar with crypto. She knows management.
And you can trust her because she's Gabby's wife. There you go.
Yes. And we didn't get her just because she's Gabby's wife.
Of course,
right?
of course.
I think
it's meritocratic
has,
still.
the skills that we really needed we really needed to build that culture.
Of course.
And Mensch was the closest to the kind of like culture that we really want to build, like value add rather than taking out value. You know what I mean? Like more of what do we want the Philippine team to be like, right? And I think Mensch was the perfect person to kind of like lead that and to remind everyone of the value of what the Pinas team is, right?
Yeah.
Like really for the community. It's all about the community. So Mensch was, the right person for that. And then I guess what happened was within the Pinas team, they acquired Miggy's and
There you go.
Miggy's startup, right? And now, we needed somebody who could look after the future of work in the Philippines, so that's how it happened.
That's amazing. Now, last question before we would not take our first break. We talk about the future of work and do a deep dive on that. So, yeah, you had a team, you had amazing people that are joining you, and you said you had to iterate on the product a lot, especially after the first PMF or first private product market fit. Walk me through how you guys iterated fast, because this is where a lot of startups also struggle. Startup founders, especially now. Oh shoot, there's a diagram in it. I forgot what it was called, but the startup cycle. Wait, let me look it up. Startup cycle, startup life cycle. I'll show you how it is.
It looks like.
Yeah, it looks like. Wait, one
a
sec.
roller coaster.
No, there's a
There's a diagram pushing a big boulder up the mountain. Is that the one?
No. One second. But if I find it, there's a valley of death. Wait lang. This is the trough of sorrow. Trough of sorrow pala. Trough of sorrow. Okay, sorry. If you guys are watching this, here the process. Here it looks really, really similar to how I would do it. And if you're lucky, if you even get the first thing. So it says here, tech crunch of initiation. So everything that boom, skyrocket, and wearing off of novelty, the trough of sorrow, and release of its improvement. Wiggles of false hope, crash of ineptitude, the promised land, and obviously the promised land or the upside of the buyer, whoever that is. Okay, that's a startup life cycle. So I would probably put this is Axie days, but when you hit the trough of sorrow, that's where startups are made and do a make or break. That's the real game, right? And so, some startups don't even get the tech crunch of initiation part, right? It's the iteration and the hyper focus of getting or feeding your super users. Walk me through that process of how you iterated on the other stuff that you wanted to work on until you got to the future of work angle.
Oh wow, it's been a really long process. But it's only been 4 years. But I feel like so many things have
That's
happened.
12 years technically.
Yeah.
in startup founder years. Yeah.
Axie days, it came very fast, very quickly. It was just myself, Gabby, Owl, and then maybe 3 more people in the team.
Yeah.
And things just we had to focus on that business model at the time, which is breeding, lending, right? And there was a lot of manual processes that happened that there were areas within the business that we didn't really have enough time to kind of focus on. So as an example, I'd say how to pay salaries, right? How do you you also need to raise funding, the right contracts in place. And then where do you kind of like incorporate the bank account? And then from
so you still have to do some fiat stuff, even if everything is crypto.
Hiring the right people, right? For the right role, right? You could actually hire really great people, fantastic people, but might not be suitable for that particular set of responsibilities, right?
Yeah.
And because the space is very new, right? Like it's hard to kind of like define the role that you exactly need.
This does not exist.
Because yes,
Mhm.
exactly. They don't exist, or most of those in the hiring pool would be those who have very much Web2 experience, very deep Web2 experiences or banking experiences, right?
Yep.
But then when they tackle everything on like smart contracts or like multi-sig functionality of wallets, like approval processes, which application do we need to use, right? How do you kind of like track these transactions, like the accounting system,
Yeah.
right? Because if you want to like get an auditor to kind of check your FSA, right? Like how do you do this? There are no applications, no softwares that could actually help you. No HR softwares that distributes, like crypto, or like to store. We raised money in USDC form, right? And
Wow.
everything in crypto. So yeah, like it's not easy to kind of like find someone who actually understands this, right? And then if you get somebody purely Web3, but no experience at all in Web2, they
Still a
run
gap.
it the way they understand it, right? But times are changing so fast that you really need to put together your financial reports, right? You need to
Correct.
get them audited. You need to pay taxes, right? You need to pay salaries at the right time. How do vesting periods, like these
Right.
these level of detail, and people who really understand it and who can actually really like run that level of detail would be Web2 folks, right? So how
Correct.
do you marry those with experience in Web2 but understand Web3? So this was where we were in
Wow.
2022, 2023.
Yeah.
Very difficult.
And it's hard.
times,
Just I can. It's like in any startup, right? Obviously, every single startup founder wants to hire an A player or a type A type of employee, right? And typically, it usually, if that's the mission or the type of criteria that you need, it's either you hire an existing type A, who's going to cost you a lot of money, or you develop a type A from the ground up, basing it off of small archetypes or potential. But it's hard to get for an existing type A player because again, they don't exist. So every single time we're going to have to base it off of past whatever experience that might be relevant and give them the reps and the mentorship to take them through, because obviously it does not exist. So you only had one choice literally. And every single hire, correct me if I'm wrong, was a bet. And I'm pretty sure there are going to be hires that are great. There are going to be hires that look good on paper, didn't materialize.
Absolutely. There's a lot of hiring, firing, and then
Yep.
there were budget constraints too at one point, right?
Correct.
When the market entirely crashed, you also had to look into, okay, this is your budget, this is your runway, this is how much we could raise potentially, right? This is how much we have in treasury, but we will have to liquidate certain things, right?
Yep.
Like you really need to consider that within like literally your balance sheet to figure out, what will take us to survive during this period and get us the product to profitability, right? Or to our next race.
Correct.
So so you have to make all those decisions, and unfortunately, hiring, firing, hiring again, firing again is just part of the process. And there was a point that I think people in the team were uncomfortable letting go of people, right? But at the same time, if you have A players, A players who are really good at doing their role and very effective.
Yeah.
And if they get mixed with those that they're good too, but not efficient within that role.
Yeah.
Then it really demotivates the A players.
No, that's true.
So you really have to do something about it, right?
Yeah.
To fix the problem. So so many ups and downs, and dealing with the team composition, the budget, right? And then at the same time, figuring out what's next.
Right. And I can imagine I had that same stretch also. So 2022 was peak. And then 2023, our biggest client was Spotify. But in 2022, I still remember, because when you go hyperscale, things would break. The rule of 3 and 10 will kick in, right? And the rule of 3 and 10, technically, for those who don't know, I've had this conversation in depth with Patrick Gentry a few years ago, that every time your team grows in multiples of 3 and 10, things break. If it worked at a smaller scale, it won't work at a bigger scale. And I remember having to deal with, I thought I knew as founders, but apparently I had to also level up as a proper exec, as a manager, because I didn't know how to lead a team with 2 to 3 layers or 4 layers down. I was always good at 1 down, because if I was effective with them, I get to have hands-on experience or hands-on delegation to do that. But obviously at scale, you need to trust your leaders to be leaders. Some of them are ready, some of them don't. I had to deal with little things like, hey, this is a leader or this type A player as an employee. All of a sudden, young, very promising, had been thrust to become a manager, but doesn't know how to lead. So what does the person do? He takes on, verbatim, this is how I would do it. You know what? I don't want my team to suffer. I'll just do all the work themselves. So I look at, why are you so burnt out? And I keep telling that person to delegate. And they don't delegate. So their team are petics, or their team is chilling. And then he's so burnt out to the point that he eventually caves in and goes, you know what? This management doesn't care about me. So now there's a mutiny that it becomes a us versus the employees kind of thing. And the whole time, we were telling this person to delegate. Our mistake was we put a kid who was an A player as an employee way too soon to become a manager. Apparently, that doesn't translate. Just because you're a good soldier doesn't mean you're going to be a good general. So those are the things that, oh my God, I wish I knew. So now I had to learn the hard way. I want to understand, Beryl, from a founder's point of view, because man, the past 3.5 years, it's been a while since the last talk. Again, felt like 12 years in founder and startup years. What were the hardest parts during that stretch that you remember going through? I'll start with me first. So I went through that. We were low on runway. There was a 18-month stretch that our runway was basically hovering on 1 month, 0.5 months, or 2 months. It was that long for an 18-month stretch. There were a 9-month stretch that I couldn't take salary. I don't know how I survived. And then the ultimate Trump card that I was dealt with, my co-founder passed away.
Oh.
Holy shit. I'm laughing about it now.
Oh, wow.
But in 2023, man, I was shook.
Oh, this was just recent.
Yeah. And I had to deal with survival of the team, low cash flow, grief, and figuring out on a day-to-day basis, like, it's a vicious cycle. What was the hardest part from a founder's point of view that, again, you'd be open to share? Because again, we're all human too. And oh my God, it was just so difficult on our end. But I'm proud because I have the team that helped me out. I wouldn't have made it if I didn't have amazing co-founders still, a team, and also amazing investors that helped me walk us through those very, very dark times where I'd say a normal person would have quit on that very day, but we didn't. What were those moments that you were probably staring, quitting, or the end right in the face, but you continued and plowed through?
Yeah. So one of the, like when we incentivize people, apart from the US dollar that we give a salary, we also have the rewards token, the YGG rewards token. Yeah. So if you're a contributor, we provide that. But when the market really crashed, the token also crashed, right?
Yep.
And then at the same time, that was when we figured, the business model is changing, right? The users are no longer interested playing to earn, because the rewards are hardly anything, and we don't make because our model before we take 10% of the gaming rewards, but it was hardly anything, right? At that time. So it was a struggle because as we actually looked for the next thing with so let me step back a little bit.
Okay.
In founders, right? There are different kinds of founders. There's a product kind of founder, right?
Yep.
There's a
sales
a
founder.
visionary kind of founder, right?
Visionary.
And then I think I fall in the third category, which is the finance kind of founder, right? So I fall there, and I think the team has done a very great job managing the finances of the company, right? Like I've been very, very stringent about that. But there was pressure, right? Like,
Yes.
hey, we need a USDC, but I was like, no, the runway is short, and we can't just, raise more funds, given that our rewards token is
Plummeting.
trading at this amount, right? We're gonna, it's gonna rub our treasury.
Yeah.
So there were like constraints, and then of course, some people are not very understand much about finances, or not, the different teams, right? Or we still need to figure out what the right business model is, right? So there was just so much pressure. So I feel that's it, right? When the decisions of whom to fire, whom to hire, how do you motivate people when they're demotivated? How do you preserve your resources? And then how do you find what's next? I think all of that, all at the same time, right? All at the same time, like you're confined with all those problems, all dumped at you at once, right? So, but I'd say that you would actually really rely on team members who are there, who are supporting you, who really understand, the situation. Your co-founders, right? I think one good thing about myself, Gabby and Owl, whenever there's a problem, we really have a discussion. And then at the end of the call, we need to agree, right? And it helps to agree to disagree, but find a middle ground, right?
Correct.
And we all agree to execute on whatever we've decided together, right? That has always been a rule, right? Even if, let's just say, I don't think I'm 100% there, but if this is good for YGG, because, at the end of the day, I would choose between, for example, for any startup, right? And for any founder, it's either you push your agenda, because of what you believe, but then, people will be bitter, or you don't agree, which is worse, because that would actually break the startup into different teams and split, right? Which is not healthy for a startup at all. Or you agree to disagree, right? It's not going to be 100%, but but your points are considered, right? And at the same time, you agree on an action plan, right?
Correct.
So it has always been a rule amongst us three. So there has always been an action plan.
Love it.
So I think that's what actually, kept going.
Yeah, that's very, very similar to what I learned in Amazon. They have this term, and this is also what I miss when my co-founder passed away, Joseph. Right before we started putting this in again, just learned that in a podcast somewhere. In Amazon, they have this term called disagree and commit. So say for example, there's three of us. We're gonna take a vote. Yes, no. But one of us has a trump card that if you believe it so much, and we're at an impasse right now, just disagree with me and commit. I'll make sure it happens. So and this happens behind closed doors, not in front of people. I'm not gonna let this happen. These intense conversations is founders only, literally. Because when we come out, we should be on the same page. There's a course of action. Because if all of a sudden I'm singing the same song, one song, and my co-founder sings different, this is where rips happen, resentment happen, confusions happen, and whatnot. So we can have an intense ass conversation, but you're right. Agree to disagree, but we need to be on the same page, whatever the next step is. And
whatever the ruling is, whatever the outcome is, we just need to agree on what commitment we do with the next steps of action.
Correct. And this is where great teams excel. Because the worst thing you can do is have inaction. Right? And just
or running the startup into two separate directions, right? Which breaks the entire company, and the more you demotivate the team, right? Because team members will have to pick sides, which is not good at all. No.
And those are the things that we've learned during that stretch, and you only get to learn that more when you're in that trough of sorrow, like what I said during the thing, because that's where it's very needed. Just every single decision needs to be fast and decisive, right? Because it doesn't have to be right, but you need to be fast in your iteration, decisive. Because what I agree with you, Beryl. When on those months where we had one month runway, 2 month runway, 0.5 month runway. What allowed us to get there was extreme financial discipline. Like down to the last line, like, nope, okay, delay this muna because we cannot afford it, blah, 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 just so that the tide would turn. And eventually it turned for us. We were ready again, because it's never just one thing. But if you're ready and you already created that discipline during the rough times, when the tide turns again and you're ready, oh man, it's like a great Rocky Balboa comeback story. And that's what we want to talk about when we come back. So we'll take our last break, and we'll now talk about what is the future, using the future of work in the perspective of YGG. And of course, this is Founders Only. We're going to be giving flowers to Beryl's top 5 founders. So we'll talk about that more after the break.
Hey hustlers, PayMongo is your payment gateway for business growth. With PayMongo, you can accept online payments from your customers through Visa and MasterCard, debit and credit cards, GCash, Maya, GrabPay, online banking, BNPL, installments, and many more. All with just one platform. For business owners, online payment collection used to be such a pain. Long negotiations and paperwork, complex developer docs, and having to gather all these proofs of payment from your customers would be a serious drag in your operations. Now with just one partner, you can simplify all of that and focus on growing your business. PayMongo's story showcases the resilience of Filipino businesses in today's digital economy. During the pandemic, they became a lifeline to countless businesses by helping them go online quickly, serve their customers, and generate revenue. They have since grown exponentially and now support thousands of businesses, from SMEs to venture-backed startups and even the most established enterprises in the country. PayMongo's products allow you to accept all types of payments with or without a website, and they continue to expand into more streamlined financial services. So sign up for free today. Visit paymongo.com to get your business activated in 1 week or less. Hey hustlers, I know how difficult it is to do fundraising at the moment for any startup or any business. And especially given this market where investors are afraid to write any significant check that would help your startup either scale or extend your runway, your options are very, very limited. But don't worry, I think I found a solution that just might help. So if you're seeking capital for your sari-sari store, online business, restaurant, or startup, CCAP's got you with a 24/7 fast and easy online loan application process, minimal paperwork, and real-time updates. Say goodbye to long lines and long waits with CCAP. UBX Philippines' online lending marketplace for micro, small, and medium enterprises. Choose from a wide variety of loan products from 5,000 pesos up to 1 million pesos from trusted lenders. With CCAP, you can apply for a business loan that's tailored to your needs, whether it's for capital, production, operations, or expansion. And check this out. You can apply anytime, anywhere in the Philippines. So what are you waiting for? Sign up at www.ccap.ph That's www.seekcap.ph and apply for a loan now.
And we're back from the break. We are still with Beryl Li, then told us the amazing lessons we are learning here in Founders Only, to come back technically during the anniversary season of Hustleshare. But Beryl, I want to understand now. You mentioned a lot during the first part of the episode, palang. You already said that the angle of where you're going to attack the next iteration, at least in this current conversation that we have, you're investing in the future of work. Can you expound more over what the future of work and why is it important to YGG?
Mhm. So the future of work is all about providing economic opportunities to community members, right? And then on the other end, right, we want to match them with projects, and for these projects, we want to add value to them, right? And so when we tried our MVP, we actually landed with like 3-4 partners, right? And they're mostly in data labeling, AI, artificial intelligence, data labeling, right? So these would be in the form of like graphics, and then they need to label, does this person wear red, blue? Is he wearing shorts, pants, right? Is this a horse? Is this a dog? Is this a cat? Okay. Right. So those are that's like tagging, data labeling of graphics, pictures, right? And then you actually have like one with words. Like correcting like sentences. So that's when they do data labeling just to kind of like improve language models.
Yep.
Right. So we partner with that kind of type of startup, right?
Okay.
And then we also had partners where that actually kind of gauge your sentiment. So for example, I think in the beginning we partnered with Navigate, and we were gauging the sentiment, political sentiment, whether they would vote Trump or like Harris. But it was highly political at that time. And but I think what they're trying to do is gauging how it actually affects the decisions, right? The sentiment that they provide and the decisions that they make. So so you have that on the AI data side. And then we also do decentralized physical infrastructure, or we call DePIN technology, where you kind of lend your processing power, right? So for example, if you're on your mobile phone and you're not using it, you have extra processing power, you can kind of lend it into the network. And then every time that you lend it, you earn rewards, right? And it's the same for the AI data labeling. When you kind of like process, a few pictures and data label that, you get your reward. So you get paid, right? And we also did this for robotics, AI robotics company, kind of like maps, like sidewalks and roads. And we've actually sent a lot of our players in the Philippines to Abu Dhabi to compete. And all they do is, in the comfort of their own home, they could kind of like, it's called the Earth Rover Challenge. Okay. They kind of manipulate a robot, remotely, and it kind of maps out like the roads. But then we gamify that experience, right? And and then the top players were chosen from the Philippines, and we sent them to Abu Dhabi, and and so this was really good because apart from them getting paid in rewards whenever they play, right? They play and they map out. They get sent to Abu Dhabi. So a lot of these players were sent for the first time. They've never traveled in their lifetime.
Ooh, wow.
And some players were telling us, from the comfort of their own home, they're able to kind of like travel to Atlanta or to Mexico or Chile or like different like countries in the world. So that was inspiring. And we really want to see more of these. That company is called Frodobots. for the bots. And we really want to partner with more of these type of like companies, right? Like Sapient for data labeling. We partner with Navigate for the pin. We partner with Compute. And then right now we're looking into do you know like the Aura rings?
Yep. No, not this ring, but the Aura ring that's a health ring, technically.
Yes. So
Yes,
they kind of
I
like
want
track
one.
your biometrics and like your
Yeah.
heartbeat, your number of steps.
Mm.
And what happens is it's not like a centralized company that owns your data. You own that data, and if you wish to monetize your own data, you just have to like tokenize it and you sell it. And so every time that you monetize out of that data, you get rewards
That's
out of it, right?
amazing.
But you decide if you want to share your data, if you approve on selling your data, and you get rewards, and then the company gets a commission, right? So it's very different from a lot of these Web2 companies when they own your data, they monetize out of your data, but you get nothing out of it, right?
No, that's true.
So it was very interesting. So we really want to find more companies like this. This one is called Kudis.
So what type of company specifically? Because again, I'm seeing AI easy, right? LLM training and whatnot. Dude, the power of the Philippines and the gig economy here is technically boundless. And if you already have a community who's willing to again work to earn or the future of work here, technically, but it's real work that again probably I don't know the transcription people always but if you use work to earn type of setup there, what's in your dirty or short list of startups that would be an initial fit again on the B2B side before we involve the community? Well, do you have
in the Philippines
or Southeast Asia or around the world?
Okay, so one that I find very, very interesting is for the future of work, right? For the YGG platform. So one that we're talking to right now, and I'm really excited about this potentially is Secuna, cybersecurity.
Oh, shout out!
So,
okay.
Yes, like with the rise of AI right now, it's gonna be hard to, like a lot of theft becomes so advanced that it's so hard, and with AI as well, that the more that you actually need cybersecurity, the more that you need to invest in security within your walls. Is like hacks going on all the time, right? And you lose value in the company, right? Because of all these cybersecurity attacks. And it's becoming much, much more important now that we kind of gradually go digital. We do a lot of our businesses online. A lot of our data is just on the cloud. And cybersecurity is just much, much more important. But we need to educate people. So that makes it very exciting because if we use our questing platform to kind of like educate people through like quests and task-based quests, we can teach them the basics and the importance of cybersecurity. And then what we can do is kind of like engage our community so that they can train to be ethical white hackers. So they can probably do that on the YGG platform. And so that's what we're exploring. There should be like an educational upskilling
of course
part for the community, but at the same time, like a job or like tasks that are like valuable in the long term, right? Not just today, but in the future. And so I feel like cybersecurity is one of them.
Oh, that's amazing. And in that said, what are the things that we're looking at here in terms of this being a part of it now? How much should companies allocate for a resource like this?
For cybersecurity?
No, I mean for if they wanted to use the YGG.
Yes.
What should be our what should be our if say I'm a company that wants to really capitalize on this, And then I was like, all right, I'm like a cybersecurity company. How much should I invest on a per transaction basis? Because there's going to be rewards. Who's going to cover that? Is it going to be YGG? Obviously, the company would have to pay for it, right? What would be that? What would that look like? Because obviously, it eliminates the need for us to do that already. To hire full-time people and use the YGG super community to get that done. What would that look like?
Yeah, it sounds like a gig opportunity, right? Like a gig economy where people could have full-time jobs and whenever they have time, they can actually look at the YGG portal, look for opportunities for that particular time, right? So this really depends on the partner, right? So for example, for data labeling, it's more of it could be per hour basis, or it could also be per results of their performance, right? So how many texts have they tagged, or how many pictures and images have they tagged, right? In Sekuna's case, this is still something that we're exploring. So I guess like based out of the rewards, right? Like so it really depends on their clients. So if they actually have a task being done, and they get paid for it, then like how much would the community be rewarded? So it's actually usually the partner that covers the rewards, or the rewards, right?
Yeah.
They'll probably pay YGG a fee to kind of list on our platform. But it really depends on the kind of tasks required.
Right. Oh, okay, sounds good. Now, it's time, Beryl. I want to now understand the most important and the highlight of each founders episode. Founders episode. No, why am I being censored by my own? I'm not. I think Sekuna, stop censoring. There you go. Sekuna, are you hacking me right now? Okay. We're now going into founders only top 5 presented to you by Shoppable. There you go. Shoppable business. Now I want to understand. Beryl, top 5 founders. No form or fashion. The only people you cannot include is yourself and me. Who's your first founder that you want to give flowers to, and why?
In the Philippines, well, I'll give it to Ron, right? Ron Host of Coins.ph.
Entrepreneur of the decade. There you go.
From Endeavor, right? Like
yep.
It was, no, so he's like my mentor. I learned a lot from him. I was part of the founding team of Coins.ph, right? And I've worked with him closely, and there's a lot that I've actually learned from him. And he's one of the first that really like exited Coins with an international
the proper
acquirer.
Exit. There you go.
Gojek, right? And then Gojek actually sold it again. And the acquirer was Way, right? And it's really hard to sell a startup and then for it to kind of like survive after an acquisition. It's another challenge. And Coins today is still there. Of course, differently managed, right? But it's kind of still like the Coins.ph theme, right? Like logo is still there. I don't know if some of the early people are still within like Coins, but I've learned a lot, right? That was like my first real dip within like the crypto ecosystem, right? That gauged like my that really increased my interest exploring and going deeper in the space. So that's one.
Okay.
I've learned a lot from him, so I give him.
Who's your second pick?
I would say maybe Stephanie C.
Oh my God, the real queen of AI. There you go.
Ever since that she's come back to the Philippines 10 years ago, she's worked on AI, and until today, it's still AI, right? And maybe AI, it also goes through a roller coaster ride. It's hot, and then one day it kind of dies down, and then it's hot again, right? But she's been there. She's run her company for quite some time, and she's regarded as one of the leaders in the scene, right? So yes, Steffi.
Great pick. How about your third pick?
So in my space right now in Web3, I'd say Renz Chong, right? He did very well.
Is this still called Breeder DAO?
Sovereign, Breeder DAO, Sovereign. They rebranded,
Got it.
but it's the same team. I'd say that this was in 2022, right?
Yeah,
2022.
I had him on the show.
Oh, you did? Yes.
Yes.
So, yeah, like he played it very smart. Before the markets really crashed, he really converted a lot of the his investments into US dollars, right? A stable coin, right? So his startup was not really impacted by the fluctuations of the market, which is, he managed his treasury very well. And there are very, very few startups in the Web3 space that manage their treasury really well to survive, the dips of the market. And you could actually see that he started with creating like assets, right? And then he pivoted and pivoted, right? Until he could actually he could afford to, right? Because he's he's on top of a big treasury in US dollars, right? So he could afford to kind of
financial discipline. There you go, because he had that background from the onset, and he knew. Again, being an OG also in the crypto space, he knew how to hedge. And again, timing. He called it the right way. So when in doubt, convert to USDT. Unless they go to war, then we're fucked. Okay, now who's your top last two founders? Fourth pick.
Oh, fourth. Well, I could think of as my husband.
There you go.
No, so Christian Bessler has been in the space for quite some time, right? And recently he's decided, I'll do my own startup, right? So I've seen him going through ups and downs, and right now he's decided to stick to something that he knows truly well, which is in healthcare. And I've, since I got back to the Philippines and spent a lot of time with my parents, like this person died, this person got sick, this person has diabetes, this person has stage 4, everything.
We're at that age
when
now.
you get to that age, my parents' age, like everyone around them is sick or dying, or I don't know what it is. And then when I look at the metrics, there's like a growing aging population in the world, right? And we need to think about preventive measures. And I feel like healthcare is such an important kind of area, right? And because of what he's doing, I became a little bit more, I'd say, very careful with, like what I eat, right? I work out more. But yeah, so his startup is called Moongig, right? And he really wants to upskill a lot of medical practitioners, particularly nurses and doctors. So maybe he
also happens to be my former investor in Kickstart. There you go. I still remember a couple of meetings that he literally physically accompanied me in the Globe Tower, because I was just a young 23, 24-year-old who didn't know what the fuck he was doing. So big shout out to Chris. All right. And last and definitely not the least, who is the fifth founder on your list?
Since I mentioned Zakuna, then Jay Villarante, right? He's been in the space for a really, really long time too in crypto. And he's still there. And he saw an opportunity in cybersecurity. So he has
and also Moneybees.
Moneybees. And then now he has Zakuna, which is cybersecurity, which makes a lot of sense now that we're really, really, our life is all digital right now. Cybersecurity is super important.
I absolutely agree. And thank you so much, Beryl. It was great catching up with you. Appreciate it. But before I let you go, again, if people want to work with you and be part of the Future of Work project that you guys are working in YGG, where do they go and how did you do that? And also, what's up next for you guys in YGG?
So you'll find everything on yieldguild.io. We're very active on our socials, particularly Twitter. And watch out for Future of Work.
There you go. Thanks so much, Beryl. But before I let you go, follow us whatever podcast app you're listening to, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to podcasts. And this is Founders Only again, so it's still going to be part of the Hustleshare ecosystem. So again, check that out. And if we did say some jargon or any link, it's going to be in hustleshare.com. And also, if you want to support Hustleshare and doing content like this, please do support us at premium.hustleshare.com. Again, Beryl, thank you very much. Thank you, and I'll see you guys in the next episode.
Thank you.
Peace.
Thank you so much for watching Hustleshare on YouTube. If you like this video, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to this channel to get more content like this. And to get the full audio episodes of Hustleshare and Founders Only, subscribe to our podcasts at Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.